Welcome to a new part of the music theory course. Now I'm going to talk about the minor and the major scale and also explain how these can be used to build the minor and major chords. Earlier I have mentioned that an octave is split into 12 keys, split in even steps by the 12th root of 2. An octave begins with the key C and ends with a B, where each step between the notes is called a half tone step. The keys in an octave is C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and then back to C, one octave up. The sign called sharp tells that the note is transposed one half tone step up. A C sharp is a C, but transposed one half tone step up. We can also call the notes like this: C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and then back to a C one octave up. The sign flat tells that the note is transposed one half tone step down. A D flat is a D but transposed one half tone step down. C sharp and D flat have the same frequency and tone but are called different. We are also using the signs sharp and flat to show from where we have transposed the note, where the letter before the sign tells us this. C sharp shows that we came from C, and D flat shows that we came from D. If we move up or down 2 half tone steps, then we say that we have moved a whole tone step instead, because one whole is the same as 2 half steps. There are plenty of different scales, but we will only use 2 of them here, and that is the minor and major scale. We can build many chords by the use of these 2 scales. Minor can be written as minor, or be abbreviated as min, or only as m, or even called moll. Major can be written as major, or abbreviated as mi, or just as an uppercase m, or be called dur. Minor and moll, and major and dur comes from different parts of the world, but I think that the best versions are major and minor, because we say C major 9 and never C dur 9. Therefore, I think that it is much better to use the English major and minor instead. The C major scale is played with the keys C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and will continue the same way over the next octaves. We can see that between C and D there is a whole tone step, and between D and E there is also a whole tone step, but between E and F there is only a half tone step. F to G is a whole, G to A is a whole, and A to B is also a whole step, but B back to C on the next octave up is a half tone step. The C minor scale is played with the keys C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and back to a C on the next octave up, and so forth. We can see that between C and D there is a whole tone step, but between D and E flat there is only a half tone step. E flat to F is a whole, F to G is a whole, but G to A flat is a half step, and the rest are whole steps. Now that you are familiar with these, we can continue with some actual chords to see what it's all about. We will begin with a C major. which also can be written as C major with a third and the fifth, where the C is the root key and the third is what makes it a major and the fifth is the fifth. But how do we find the third and the fifth? By looking at the C major scale, where we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Here we can see that I have put numbers to each one of them, 1 to 7. And these are the numbers that we are going to use to find the third and the fifth. Now we can see that the root key in our chord is C, that is placed on the number 1. And the major tone is on the third, an E. And the fifth tone is on the fifth, a G. Then we have a triad of notes that together is a C major chord. C major can also be missing the fifth, but is then best written as C major with the third, no fifth, and is no longer a triad because there are only 2 notes. The key that makes a chord minor or major is the third note in the scale. Let's continue by finding a C minor, also written as C minor with the third and the fifth. To find the minor note on the third, we will now use the C minor scale instead. The root key C is found on number 1, and the minor key E flat is found at number 3. The fifth, which is a G, is found at the 5th note in the scale. Now we have a new triad of tones, that is a C minor chord. The C minor chord can also be missing the 5th, but is then best written as C minor with the third, no 5th. Now, to be able to find other scales than just a C scale, we are using the tone steps that the C major and minor scale had. The C major had C to D, a whole tone step, D to E, a whole tone step, E to F, a half tone step, F to G, a whole tone step, G to A, a whole step, A to B, a whole, and B back to C, an octave up, had a half tone step. If we would like to find the D major scale, for an example, then we will just start from the D key and jump forward to find the rest of the keys by the use of the tone steps we just mentioned. The first is D, jumps 1 whole tone step to add the E, jump 1 whole tone step again to add F sharp, jump a half tone step and add the G, jump a whole and add an A, jump a whole and add a B, jump a whole to add a C sharp, and jump a half to add a D on the next octave up, and so forth. Now you can find the D major chord in this too, by the use of the D major scale. To find the D minor scale and also the D minor chord, then just do the same all over again, but by the use of the C minor scale's tone steps instead. After that, you will be able to find whatever major or minor scales or chords you want by the use of the same method. In the next part, we will look at the more spicy chords. And with that said, I would like to thank you for watching and please subscribe. Bye!